and y'all said the Grizzlies should be ashamed of themselves. Well, let me ask y'all this then. How should y'all feel then? Because you a starter, Shannon, on Undisputed. Skip is a starter, and y'all hostess is a starter. But y'all still losing the first take, and they got their reserves in this week.
What's going on there, guys? We back with another one. Today we got to talk about Shannon, Sharpe, and Skip Bayless. They had something to say about the Memphis Grizzlies losing last night to Russell Westbrook and the Los Angeles Clippers without Kawhi and Paul George. Well, the Grizzlies actually has been playing good, but I mean, par for the course, you're going to lose some games in the NBA. You know, you might not be playing the best lineup on a given night, but you could be beat by anybody in the NBA. If an NBA team is playing extremely well, like the Clippers, they shot lights out from 3 last night. You know, it's nothing you could do about it. You got to live with it. And Doc Holliday went in on these guys, man. Check out what he had to say.
I want y'all to listen to this nonsense. This nonsense that's spewed by Shannon on Sharpe and Skip to my Lou Bayless. Listen to this now.
Speaking of stars, John Morant goes 2 of 9 from 3, and your man Dylan Brooks goes 2 of 9 from 3. It just won't work because you're getting shot out of your own gym by 2 guys you didn't even see coming because nobody could have seen this coming.
The Grizzlies literally played without Jaren Jackson Jr., a starter, the defensive player of the year, Desmond Bane, one of the best shooting guards in the NBA, Tyus Jones, who's literally a starting point guard, but he's coming off the bench, Steven Adams, who's the starting center who hasn't played in a couple of months. We literally played without 3 starters, another guy who fills in, who is a starter, and our superstar, John Morant, played and still went off. And these dudes said that the Grizzlies should be ashamed when they didn't play without all those players. Man, I'm telling y'all, these 2 dudes, amongst others, are some clowns. Skip to my Lou Bayless and Shannon on Sharpe. This is what I'm talking about. Hey, Skip and Shannon, another thing, since y'all want to talk about the Grizzlies losing to the LA Clippers, even though the Grizzlies were missing Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, 2 starters, Steven Adams, our big man, he's a starter. He hasn't played in a long time. Even though he's missing 3 starters, and Tyus Jones, who's really a starter, who comes off the bench, he's only a reserve because we have an astonishment in John Morant playing point guard for the Grizzlies, and missing Brandon Clark, our top reserve. Even though we was missing all those players, we lost to the Clippers. And I know the Clippers didn't have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but the fact of the matter is our chemistry with all our starters and our players is better than the Clippers' chemistry with all their players. But even though we was missing all of those players, we lost the game, and y'all said the Grizzlies should be ashamed of themselves. Well, let me ask y'all this then. How should y'all feel then? Because you a starter, Shannon, on Undisputed. Skip is a starter, and y'all hostess is a starter. But y'all still losing the first take, and they got their reserves in this week. Because Screaming A. Smith is off, and Molly is off. But their reserves are beating y'all. Blowing y'all out, too. So how do y'all explain that? It's just a real question. I love an answer. Thank you. So I wake up this AM to watch a little sports talk TV, and I really try not to watch too much of it because a lot of these shows and a lot of these dudes really don't be making any sense. So I decided to turn it on Disputed because ain't nothing undisputed about it. Undisputed, you like undisputed, like ain't no dispute about. Well, I guess they will be undisputed, undisputably bad, because y'all ain't the undisputed champs. But anyway, Shannon on Sharpe and Skip Bayless said the Memphis Grizzlies should be ashamed of themselves because they lost to the Los Angeles Clippers last night at home. And the Clippers played without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So the Grizzlies should be ashamed. They did a whole 10, 15-minute segment talking about this. They said the Clippers only played with 9 players. and the Grizzlies should be ashamed for losing. The Grizzlies literally played without 3 starters last night. Jaren Jackson Jr. didn't play. Desmond Bane didn't play. Steven Adams didn't play. He's been out. Tyus Jones is really a starter coming off the bench. He didn't play. Our superstar did play, Ja Morant, and he went loco. I think Ja had 36. Dylan Brooks had 30. But we played without literally 3 starters. And one of our reserves, our top reserve, Brandon Clark, is hurt and out for the season. And we had our G League team out there playing with the Clippers, and we still lost by just 9 points. And these dudes said the Grizzlies should be ashamed. I'm telling y'all, man, these shows and these shows are horrible. I don't even think they watched the game, man. I think they were just looking at the box score. I don't even think they realized Desmond Bane didn't play or Tyus Jones. One of them, they mentioned that Jaren Jackson Jr. didn't play. I don't even think they mentioned the other dudes. I don't even think they know. Man, look, undisputably bad. Stop it.
Marcus Doc Holliday, you know, he has some things to say about their journalism as it pertains to the Grizzlies. And like I've said before, man, any team can lose to an NBA team on any given night. Even if you have a team that has a poor record and lacks team chemistry, everybody that's playing at that level is able to put a 48-minute game together. You know what I'm saying? It could be the worst team they could be. That's why you see the Hornets beating some of these good teams right now. You like a PJ Washington can go off for 40 points. These guys are top, you know, in the world in playing basketball. So typically the ability of the players isn't the problem. It's the collection and mesh of players, coaching staff, front office. See, it's a business. So that's why you could take players from one team and move them to another team, and they have such an integral role. That's why Malik Monk is playing better basketball on a playoff team than he was able to play in Charlotte. You know, they were sending him down to the G League a lot in Charlotte for his first few years, and now he's found a place, has like a Jamal Crawford type role off the bench, and he's doing his thing. So there's been this ongoing thing about the sports journalism of like Stephen A. Smith. You heard Doc call him Screaming A. Smith, and then Shannon and Skip Bayless, as it comes to basketball, it's like they don't offer any real insight on what's taking place on the floor on a nightly basis. And I will say that Stephen A. on First Take, sometimes he'll bring in a JJ Redick, he'll bring in Big Perk, he'll bring in Jay Williams, and those guys will attempt to offer something, whether they're coming from an analytical perspective or if they're talking about their eye tests, they're talking about players and how well they mesh together, locker room issues. They do try to talk about the game somewhat. I will give them that on First Take. And it takes sometimes different faces. You know, you have to bring in people for segments. And I just don't know if Skip, you know, I don't know who all wants to be associated with the way he's done journalism. That may be even a little more difficult to do on that platform. You know, Shannon is able to get these people in, but he's doing like an interview format on Club Shay Shay. But it may be difficult to even get for Skip to get people to come in and agree to do that with him just because of some of the bridges he's burned. But it would offer some fresh takes on the show. I feel like that's something they probably should embrace, because Stephen A., you know, when he's out, they're able to at least have a show, whereas when Skip and Shannon take time off, you've noticed like lately there's been times where the shows be off at a week at a time. You know what I'm saying? They'd be off air for a week at a time. And I feel like because it's solely clickbait, shock value based mostly. And they in the game of that. Like, that's the game they're playing. That's the race they're running. I can't take away from that. You got to have an interesting talking point on a debate show. At the same time, it's like only LeBron James, Cowboys, and then other topics that's hot at the time. But it's going to be LeBron Cowboys segments every day, and it gets a little tiring. And the approach to it is tiring more than the topics themselves. You know, LeBron is actively playing, and they're trying to get a play-in, playoff spot. So you rightfully so talk about him, but is he the GOAT? He did this, he did that, and just the way they speak about it is not very in-depth. And I think that was Doc's whole point about these guys on TV, you know. And you're seeing other shows pop up around the world, and they're able to do some great journalism even on a smaller scale. So I don't really have much to say about that, but let me know if you guys agree with Doc Holliday. Is Skip and Shannon's sports journalism below average, not up to par, whatever, or do you think he's just mad because he's a Memphis Grizzlies fan? Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.